All right, so let's look at the Lesson 10 Module 1 problem set. Lesson 10 is all about looking at graphs and being able to recognize the ordered pairs, the coordinate points, if you prefer that name, as x and y values, right? Like instead of looking at a table that says x on one side and y on the other side, and here's all your x's and here's all your y's, we should be able to see the same sort of data from this graph by remembering that, oh, this 1 right here is an x value, and the 58 next to it is a y value, and this 3 right here is an x value, and this 174 right here is a y value, and all the other things and skills that we've learned about proportionality, like checking whether or not something's proportional, and writing equations, and multiplying by the k and dividing by the k, or even figuring out what the k is. We can do all those same things by pulling data from a graph the same way we could pull data from a table or a word problem or whatever. So a lot of the things that we're doing are still kind of the same, just getting used to getting our data in a different presentation is the only thing that's really new here. So it says, number 1, the graph to the right shows the relationship of the amount of time in seconds, boom, time, our independent variable on the x-axis, and we're relating that to distance in feet here on the y-axis. So this is essentially how far the Jaguar has run in a certain amount of time. And question A says, what does the point 5, 290 represent in the context of this situation? Remember, context just means what is the question about? This question is about a Jaguar and how long he's been running for and how far he's gone. Or maybe it's a girl Jaguar. So that's what they want, and they want you to relate these numbers to it. So 1A, the point 5, 290 means the Jaguar, I almost made a Q instead of a G. The Jaguar ran 290 feet in 5 seconds. All right, so B is basically the exact same thing. I'll let you answer it. C. I'm going to try not to make this video like 22 minutes long like the last one was. Is the distance run by the Jaguar proportional to the time? Explain why or why not. There's lots of different ways you could figure out. You could do y divided by x ratios for every single one of these points and make sure they come out the same. And if they do, it's proportional. But we know a faster and easier way. This line is straight, and it contains the origin. And that should be enough for you to answer C. And so I'm not going to write that either. We're cruising through. All right, D says write an equation to represent the distance run by the Jaguar. Explain or model your reasoning. Okay, so I'll help you with this. We need to write the equation. Well, step 1 to getting an equation, I'll write these 2 steps again. Step 1, find the k for the relationship. And then step 2, write the general form, remember, which is just y equals kx, except put your k here. Whatever number you got in step 1, you write it where that k goes. That's all there is to it. So we got to find k from this Jaguar time and distance graph. Luckily, k is just y divided by x, and we have some y divided by x values here, and we know it's proportional, so it should not matter which y and x values we choose. So I'm going to choose the easiest ones possible. I see a 58 and a 1, a 58 for y, and a 1 for x, and I'm pretty sure 58 divided by 1 is 58, and so there's our k. Step 1 done. We've got our k. Step 2 is we write the general form, y equals kx, except we don't write that k. We put our k, 58, where that k usually goes. Boom, equation done. And it says, explain or model your reasoning. Well, I suppose we could do something like this. We could say, well, y No. There's I know a faster and better way to write what I was about to say. We could say the distance, I'll say she runs. It's going to be a fast female Jaguar. She runs, which in parentheses we'll put y, and we'll even draw an arrow to that y, is always equal to the number of seconds, which in parentheses we'll mark that that's x, that x right there, times 58, which is k. I think that's a pretty good explanation of how our equation works, or our reasoning behind it. All right, let's look at the next one. Championship t-shirts sell for $22 each. What points must be on the graph for the quantities to be proportional to each other? So essentially they just want you to come up with some points that would be on a graph if you have this proportional relationship. So you could think of a table, right? For a lot of people, tables are easier. And then you can sort of like transfer that to points on a graph. So if, let's say this is number of shirts, and this is the cost. And in the question it says, the shirts cost $22 each. Okay, well, one shirt costs $22. That's pretty simple. Two shirts, well, should cost twice as much as 22, so 44. Three shirts, well, it should be another $22, so 44 plus 22. I could do it like this. I go 2 plus 4 is 6. 2 plus 4 is 6, 66. And let's do one more. Let's go 4 and, well, 66 plus another 22 is 88. But this hasn't answered the question. We just made a table of some number of shirts and some costs. They want to know some points, but we actually have the points. If we think of this as our x values and our y values, we could just turn these into points by going, oh, well, this means that the point 1, comma 22 would have to be on the graph to represent one shirt and $22. And the point 2, comma 44 would have to be on the graph. And the point 3, comma 66 would have to be on the graph for 3 shirts and $66. And 4, comma 88. And there's one point that we should definitely put on here too. Every proportional graph has to have that origin, right? We know that. And that says that 0 shirts better cost $0, and that makes sense to me. All right, the next one says, what does the ordered pair 5, comma 110 represent in the context of this problem? So that was like just before I stopped. If we'd have gone one more, we would have got 5, comma 110. And so this is what? This is 2b? Yeah, 2b. Can you still see me on the screen? Yep. 5, comma 110, 110 represents 5 shirts costs $110. And number C says how many t-shirts were sold if you spent a total of $88. You should already know that based on information we put in our table, so I am going to move on. I think I'm going to skip 3. I'm going to do 4 for you, and then I'm going to leave 5 on the backside for you to make this graph and answer these questions. So let's do 4 real quick, and then I'm out of here. Oops. 4 says Jackie is making a snack mix for a party. She is using cashews and peanuts. The table below shows a relationship on the number of packages of cashews she needs versus cans of peanuts. So it looks like if she uses 1 thing of cashews, it's 2 things of peanuts, 2 things of cashews, 4 things of peanuts. So I can tell that the K is going to be 2 here, right? It looks like every time it's just this times 2 equals that. Or if I wanted to, I could have done extra column over here, called it y divided by x. And, the 0 divided by 0, that doesn't really have an answer. Mathematicians like to say it's undefined. We could write undefined there. But 2 divided by 1, that's 2. 4 divided by 2, that's 2, right? I'm going to get 2 on all these. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So our k is 2. And they want me to write an equation to represent this relationship. Am I still on the screen? Yep, okay. So we just take the general form. We take that y equals kx, but we just take our k that we found and we go, boom, and we put it where that k is. So our equation is y equals 2x. That's assuming that peanuts is y and cashews is x. I didn't really specify that at the start. I should have. And then describe the ordered pair 12, 24 in this in the context of this problem. So, well, this is 12 is the x value and 24 is the y value, and x is cashews, y is peanuts. So this just means if she, can you see me on the screen? Yeah, I'm just barely on there. Let's do this. If she uses 12 packs of cashews, she needs 24 cans, I guess they're cans of peanuts. All right, you go ahead and handle number 5 on the backside. If I assign that, I may or may not in different years. All right.